Have you ever lost something that felt like your entire world? Something you built with your own hands, something you believed would last forever. Maybe it was a job you loved, a relationship you trusted, or a dream you had nurtured for years. And when it disappeared, it felt like the ground beneath you had simply vanished. You stood there, confused and heartbroken, asking the same question over and over again. Why? Why did this happen to me? If you have ever felt that pain, this story is for you. Stay with me, because by the end, you will see your loss in a completely different light. High up in the mountains, where the air is thin and the world feels far away, there was once an old temple. It had been abandoned for decades. Weeds grew between the cracks in the stone floor, and the walls were covered in vines so thick they looked like they were holding the place together. In the center of the main courtyard hung a massive bell. It was made of dark, aged metal, and its surface was marked by time. A small crack ran along one side, a scar from a storm long ago. For years, the bell hung in silence. No one came to ring it. No one came to pray. It was just there. But for one tiny sparrow, that bell was everything. She had discovered the small space inside it, hidden from the wind and the rain, safe from the hawks that circled overhead. It was the perfect home. She spent days gathering soft moss and tiny sticks, weaving them together into a warm, comfortable nest. Every morning she would sit at the edge of the bell and sing as the sun rose over the mountains. She felt safe. She felt secure. She believed this would be her home forever. Then, one quiet morning, everything changed. Footsteps echoed through the courtyard for the first time in years. A group of monks had returned. They cleared the weeds, swept the stones, and finally they stood before the old bell. They wanted to call the villagers back. They wanted to hear its voice again. The sparrow, resting peacefully inside, had no idea what was coming. And then, with all their strength, they struck the bell. The sound was deafening. It roared through the mountains like thunder. The entire bell vibrated violently, shaking the nest apart. Twigs and feathers flew in every direction. The sparrow shot out in terror, her home crumbling behind her. She flew in frantic circles, watching as the pieces of her safe little world scattered across the ground. In seconds, everything she had built was gone. She landed on a branch far from the temple, her heart racing, her eyes wide with disbelief. Why? She had done nothing wrong. She had built her home carefully. She had been content. Why had this happened to her? For days she wandered. She tried building a new nest in a tree, but the wind was too strong. She tried a bush, but it wasn't safe from cats. Nothing felt right. Nothing felt like home. She grew tired, hungry, and hopeless. She began to wonder if she would ever find a place to belong again. But deep inside, a tiny voice kept whispering, "Keep going. Don't stop." So she kept flying. One afternoon, exhausted and ready to give up, she followed the sound of trickling water. It led her deep into a part of the forest she had never seen before. The trees here were tall and strong, letting just enough sunlight filter through. A clear stream ran over smooth stones, sparkling in the light. Berry bushes were heavy with fruit, and the branches were perfect, strong, steady, and safe. She landed on one and looked around. For the first time in weeks, hope flickered in her heart. She began gathering materials, but this time she chose stronger sticks, thicker leaves, softer feathers. She built carefully, patiently, making sure every piece was secure. When she finished, she sat in her new nest and felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. The stream sang softly below her. The sunlight warmed her back. The forest sheltered her. And in that moment, she understood. If the bell had never rung, she would still be trapped in that dark, cramped space. She would have never found this paradise. Her loss had not destroyed her. It had set her free. Think about that for a moment. The very thing that shattered her world was the thing that led her to a better one, and the same is true for you. I know it doesn't feel that way right now, When you lose something dear, it feels like the end. But what if it's not? What if life is pushing you out of a place that had become too small for you? What if the job you lost was holding you back from a career you were meant to build? What if the relationship that ended was keeping you from the love you truly deserve? What if the plan that failed was making room for a dream you haven't even imagined yet? You are not being punished. You are being redirected. The pain you feel right now is not your final destination. It is the doorway to something greater. But you have to keep moving. You have to keep believing. You have to trust that your new nest is out there waiting for you. It may be stronger than your old one. It may be warmer, safer, more beautiful than anything you've ever known. But you will never find it if you stop flying. So take a deep breath, lift your wings, and keep flying. Your paradise is just a few flaps away. And when you find it, you will look back and realize that the loss that broke your heart was actually the thing that saved your life. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel. Join our community of people who believe that every ending is just a new beginning. Hit the subscribe button now, and let's keep flying together.